have to do some adjustments here. This is the tote. It's a nice microfiber, easy to clean tote. Bonnie has done some really nice things with selecting one of our top totes here, which is our deluxe tote. It's got lots of pockets in it. I'm gonna kind of quickly just kind of go through and pull out some products. This very first top bag here, I'll open this up and I'll show you all the ins and outs of each component here in a minute. But this is going to be like the main bag, and this will be the one that you want to open for moms, or tell moms to open first, because it'll have everything that she needs to get started. Okay, so that's bag number one. And then we got bag number two, which is going to be all the extra parts and pieces. And this is, you know, it does add to the confusion, I know, but because it's going to be separated, I think that will help. That, you know, bag number one is going to be everything the mom needs to get started. Bag number two is going to be different flange sizes. We've got spare bottles in here. We got the spare lids and caps and extra valves and parts and pieces. And then also in there, this will be in the bag as well. This is the manual component of that. So we'll get to that here in a minute. They'll get their what we call our IFU, or instruction manual. This is on the manual pump. The actual pump manual is in bag number one. We've got our transformer here, or power plug. All right. Moms get a very nice cooler. This will hold up to 4 of the 5-ounce bottles stacked kind of on top of each other. There's a cold pack in here. It's matching. It's the microfiber design, so it's easy to clean. So that's kind of a very nice component. And then we've got our Evolve breast pump. I'll get to this in just a second, but we'll finish up with the bag and kind of get this out of the way. Inside of here, because it kind of doubles as a diaper bag, it has this changing pad. But what most moms will use this for is if they're in a place, maybe in a public place or an office or something, and they want to lay this down and kind of put their components on here, their parts and pieces, they could clean this, and they know that, you know, it's a clean surface that they can bring with them. So that's our tote. Inside of here, lots of nice pockets on the side with some elastic on there. So, and lots of room for other things other than a pump, so they can, you know, minimize the number of totes that they're carrying. So with that, I'm gonna set the tote aside and kind of focus more in on the pump and the components. All right, so start with our bag number one here. Okay, this is our bag, which is going to be the main one, and the reason, the way you're going to be able to tell it is it has the flanges in here, the flange connectors. Dump this out, set that aside. Here's our owner's manual, or our operations manual. See that they've got 2 of the flanges, which are here. These are the size 28 flange. And then this is our flange, what we call our flange connector. On the bottom of our flange connector is our duct valve valve. So those of you that are familiar with the Hygeia products, this is one of the valves that we offered. As the pump opens and closes, pumping wise, it just drops that milk in. So as the pump is cycling, it opens, drops the milk into the bottle. Okay, so these simply just friction fit right on the bottom. Bottle screws right onto here. This is a standard thread. Okay, and this little loop right here is kind of a unique design to Hygeia. that just helps moms kind of hang on to the pump as she's pumping. So she's got her thumb there to keep the bottle from slipping out of her hand or something. So that's what that is for. On the back side of here, this is where we're going to plug in our pieces to connect it. This is an important part of the Hygeia pump. This is a 3-piece system, okay? And it's 3 pieces for cleaning purposes. But typically, after you open up bag number 1, mom's going to wash this for the first time. And then after that initial washing, anything that comes in contact with the breast or the breast milk, which is going to be these components, are what they're going to be washing. Okay. So like other manufacturers, we just don't want to wash our tubes and our tubing. Okay. And then these parts and pieces won't be needed to be washed on a regular basis, simply because there's not going to be milk transferring through here. Okay. And I'll explain that in a minute. So if somebody can watch the screen, if questions come up, certainly let me know. Okay. So this 3-piece system, again, this is the initial cleaning that the moms would do straight from the factory. It's clean from the factory, but we want to just use hot soapy water. Like you've probably been telling moms, you know, it's best to do this in a separate bowl, to have their own you know, parts and pieces in a separate bowl other than a sink or something, because there's just so many germs in a sink. We want to just try to keep it all clean and safe. So these 3 pieces, hot soapy water. The nice thing about it is there's only one way that this can be put back together. Okay. Simply putting in the silicone diaphragm there, and then this piece like that. Got 2 audible clicks. So moms know it's good and tight and it's put in place properly. If they try to put that silicone disc upside down, it just won't close. Okay. Now, the other important thing here to note is that there's only one way to hook this up. So this side is much more narrow than this side. I know it may be difficult to see on the video here, but basically the larger size is going to go into the back of your flange right here. And that just friction fits. Okay, just push it in like that. The other end is going to be for the tubing. Got our tubing here. One end of the tubing is going to have this little splitter right here, which is our tubing connector. This end will go into the pump. One side will go onto the back of the diaphragm cap. And then we're just going to do the same thing on this side. Let me show you. I told you that it would only work one way. If you try to put this in backwards, or if the mom tries to put it in backwards, it won't stay. The only way to get it to go is flip it around, push it in. Okay. So they can't inadvertently hook the tubing up on the wrong side or anything like that. So that's it. So the mom is ready to pump. She can take her little Y adapter here. This piece dangling off of here is if they would want to single pump. They just remove one of the tubing and cap off one side. Okay. And then she's good for single pumping. Double pump, put that tubing back in there. And then we're going to take this, put it right into the front of the pump. Okay, so that just simply goes in there like that. All right, so I'm going to lay these down for now and kind of get them out of the way. Show you a little bit about the pump, and then we'll go through the extra parts and pieces. So you'll see that, you know, this is everything that the mom really needs to get pumping, are these parts and pieces. Pump is very lightweight. It's about a pound, pound and a half. It's a closed system pump. And by closed system, this means that this, because of this mechanism right here, this is our clam-shaped design diaphragm that keeps milk from flowing into the tubing. So when I mentioned that, you know, the mom pumps, the milk goes in here past the duckbill valve, drops into the bottle. The milk's not going to get into this tubing or this piece here. So when she finishes pumping, she just disconnects this because we're just moving air through here in our tubing. And then these are the parts and pieces that she's going to wash. All right. So a little bit about the pump. It's closed system, meaning that milk won't go into the tubing because of this. And it's also a closed system for the as far as the pump is concerned, that if we take this little cap right here, this is where our power adapter is going to be plugged in. I've got it marked with Evolve just for my own references because I got a lot of plugs laying around my office. But we can cap this off so that nothing, no dirt or anything gets in there. And then all the way around the pump, there's really no openings for any dirt or anything to get into the pump, which is kind of nice. On the back side, we got a little handle. Okay, grip it with 2 fingers because it's so lightweight. We've got our on and off button right here in the middle. Okay, it's on now. So what it does is when you first turn it on, it's factory set where we got our speeds at 3. Get a little better angle here. Our speed is at 3 and our suction is at 5. Okay, we get 5 speed settings, so they can adjust this up or down with their speed dials and their suction down here. So moms can change that, but basically instead of starting from 0 and then moms have to, you know, they're going to want to get more pressure and more speed, we kind of set it at a factory setting, which in our studies showed that, you know, most moms were comfortable starting at this point. And then it has stimulation on the bottom here. Okay, so the word right there, which may be hard to read, but it says stimulation. Okay, stimulation's just that 2-phase suction, meaning that it's gonna suckle at a higher speed. Okay, so I turn it all the way up. So we're on our maximum stimulation, meaning 10 on the highest on this and 5 on the speed. This is the suction. Okay. At any time, moms can change the mode over. That's a little mode button. That's the M. They can change it over to expression. Now the word appears under here. It says expression. And you can see it went back to our factory settings of 3 on the speed and 5 on the suction or its strength. Here again, moms can increase or decrease suction. Okay, at any time. Okay. One of the things I think that came up in the trial is that the buttons were kind of a little bit hard to manipulate. These, you know, are easy enough. The on and off button, you have to push and hold for a second or 2. Okay, and that's simply because if it was just a very light on and off, it would be coming on every time they throw it in their bag and something hits it. So we wanted to make a, you know, special switch for this to where you have to hold it, you know, have to hold it for a second to turn it off and on. Okay, so all right, I don't think any questions are popping up, but if so, let me know. That's it with the pump. It is a battery operated pump. Okay, so right now you can see that we're on, let's see what my bar levels are. Okay, I got it fully charged. So you see the bars, there's 4 bars up here. And then with each one, it'll go down. So basically they got a little over 3 hours of pumping on a full battery charge. Okay, when it gets down to 0 bars, it'll start flashing and it'll say no bars and it'll flash. Moms still have about 20 to 25 minutes of pumping. So that means even if she waits to the very end and there's no battery life left, it's going to flash and it's going to say time to charge it. Now at any time, just like with a, with a cell phone or anything other lithium product, moms can plug it in and continue to use it while she's charging it. Okay. The charge time to a full charge is about 3 hours. So it's better for any battery, whether it's a phone or whether it's a pump. It's not good to leave them plugged in overnight. We all do that with our cell phones, I think, but it's not really the best thing you could be doing for your battery life. So 3 hours to a full charge is not very long. So just unplug it, and once it's fully charged. Okay, so let's show you a couple other things. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off for now. I'm going to push and hold for a second. That's our Evolve pump. Let's get into the extra parts and pieces that a lot of people get a little overwhelmed with and certainly understand. But the reason we do this is for choices. In here are extra parts and pieces. Like I said, I've got them out here, so I'm just going to bring them over. We've got 2 lids. Okay. I don't know why they call it a locking ring, but this is a locking ring. To me, it's a lid, right? And here is the disc that goes in here. And the reason that's punched out is for if mom's using a nipple for the bottle. So we get 2 of those for the original bottles. Mom will get 2 extra bottles, which will have the 2 locking rims, locking disc in there. She will get 2 extra valves or valve membranes. This is always nice to have extras of those. She will get a second little Y adapter for her tubing. As you can see, the only thing sticking out of this pump is this piece. It's a hard plastic. So if something gets really bumped hard, the chances of it breaking, if that breaks, we give them a little extra piece so they're not down and out. They can replace that. So that's what that piece is for. And we get our manual pump adapter. Okay. Excuse me, a little odd looking, but it's a very neat design, and it works very, very well. So basically, if the mom is out of the battery, she didn't charge it up, there's a storm or whatever, power's out, she can disconnect this simply by removing it. And then this piece right here, a little piece in there is going to go right onto the back of our flange. Just push it in, give it a little squeeze right there. It locks it right into place. What's very cool about this, our pump is, number one, the flanges are interchangeable. So she got, I forgot to show you the extra flanges. So she'd get another second set of flanges in that second bag that she could interchange. Okay, so if she wanted a, this one's a 24. So if she wanted a 24, she could put the 24 right on there. This pump, this manual pump, is very unique in the way that this piece right up here will allow moms to do a full stroke, kind of like our expression mode, where it's higher pressure. Okay, and she's going to probably pump a little bit fast, a little bit slower. If she wants to kind of stimulate the milk, she can simply push this forward and pull the handle up. Now you see a gap in here. So that restricts how far this will go down. So it restricts that limit, which restricts the amount of pressure at the breast. So with this mode, she can pump very quickly and kind of get that stimulation to the breast and get that breast milk flowing. Once it's flowing, she simply pushes this forward, closes this gap right up here. Now she's in that expression mode. Okay. So that is our one-hand manual pump. This will be, as Bonnie showed in the PowerPoint presentation, this is also going to be sold separately as a one-hand manual pump. Okay, so you'll have that option. And when we sell it as a one-hand manual pump, you'll get 2 flange sizes and you'll get an extra duckbill valve with that, and then it'll come with a stand. Okay, so that is it. I think, you know, and for cleaning purposes, again, with the manual pump, since we're just moving air through this portion of it, this should not be needed to be cleaned. So we're gonna clean, excuse me, what comes in contact with the breast or the breast milk, which are these components right here. Okay. So that is our Hygeia one-hand manual pump. No fancy name for it. It's just our one-hand manual pump. Bonnie, was there?
That's great.
Anything else
Thank
that
you
wanted
so
me to
much.
cover?
I think there may be some questions. Would anybody like to pose any questions for Tom about the Evolve? Or maybe not. I know that during the pilot, one of the comments we frequently got was that they didn't like the bag. And so what I hadn't explained to the pilot participants, I guess, was that that was just a bag we were temporarily using. And that was not going to be the bag that would be given later. And so as you can see, the bag is actually much better than the bag that the pilot project used.
Yeah.
The other complaint was that there were a lot of parts. And so what we've done is we've divided them up into the 2 bags, like Tom has said. So there's a bag that you need for pumping, just, you know, right away. And then there's that second bag that has all the value added extras, the extra bottles and extra flanges and extra parts. And that's, again, just to help moms. If they run into any kind of problems, they'll have spare parts. And so instead of all being in one bag together, it's separated out for them. And so I think that will make a big difference as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we do have some questions for you, Tom.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Okay. There's a question from Tamik that, will these have a car hook?
A car hook, meaning like a car charger?
That's what I would assume.
Sure.
It's not really needed since there's a cell phone or a battery, a lithium battery in there already.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of, I mean, if somebody's got a, they sell those adapters, you know, that turns it into a plug perhaps, and on a lot of vehicles where you could plug it in, but it doesn't come included with it. You can get it with the pump, but again, you know, as Bonnie mentioned, you got 4 hours of or a little over 3 hours of pumping time, so it's pretty generous to kind of keep that charged. And even if you're, you know, could charge it for 20 minutes, you should be able to get through a pumping session.
Okay. Thank you. There is another question. Where do the batteries go?
It's a built-in, I didn't mention it, but is it a built-in lithium ion battery, which means you don't have to mess with it. Moms don't have to mess with it at all. So the battery's internal. Yeah, again, kind of what I'll reference is kind of like a cell phone, you know, it's in there. Just got to charge it, just got to plug it in and charge it. So nothing to buy, nothing to have to take care of other than just plugging it in and charging it.
Great, thank you. There's another question from Sabrina. Is the user's manual available in multiple languages?
It is available when it comes to it. It's Spanish and English. Spanish and English, and then I'd have to check our website to see if there's any other languages. So it's kind of a reverse where you know, the first part is English and then the second part is the Spanish. But we do have, you know, other videos on that that are pretty self-explanatory for people just to kind of watch the videos. Just kind of goes through setting it up for the first time, cleaning it, troubleshooting, are all in these little quick videos that are available on the Hygeia baby app. That if Bonnie doesn't have that handy, I can send that to folks and moms can use that baby app, you know, for all their training and videos for products.
Okay, that sounds like that might be useful. And
Yeah.
we have another question. It's the standard flange included with the pump. Is it size 28 or what sizes are included? Do you happen to know?
28 is one of the size flanges, and then Bonnie, you have to help me on the other size.
We're planning on using 24 for the
Okay.
second size rather than the 30.
Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. So that's what I have here. This is a 24. That makes the best sense to me. Right now, we've got an option to put it, you know, some different sizes in it, but it's always going to have the 28 as the standard, and then we'll add these 24s in there for your order.
And there are multiple sizes available through Hygeia, just like we have done with our other single user pump. Many agencies would purchase some extra flanges in other sizes to have available to help women. And I believe, Tom, you told me that the Medela flanges all fit as well.
Yep, I just grabbed one. Here's a Medela flange that fits on there. Okay, so that's a Medela flange, and then any of the flanges that you have that are Hygeia now will work with it as well. So if you have inventory of the larger sizes of flanges, or you know, if the mom has another Hygeia personal accessory set that she's using, those flanges will be interchangeable. Okay, so
those are all great questions, team.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up with Tammy's question about the car charger. I believe that some clinics have car chargers that they were giving away with some of the Lactina pumps. And how do we know if they're compatible to use with the Hygeia one?
Yeah, I can tell you that any of the ones that are for the larger pumps, you got to be real careful with adapters. It'll tell you, you know, right on here the information that you need. And the problem is if they have one that they plug in that fits, you know, like plugs in fine, and you just assume that it works fine. If it doesn't have the right amount of volts or something, that could burn that motor up. So it doesn't have to be a Hygeia brand. It just has to match, you know, the voltage and the on the back here, it's got the voltage. So you got to be real careful about change, interchanging vehicle lighter adapters.
All right.
That's true with any
Okay.
pump, because they're all a little bit different. Even though they plug in and it seems like it fits, it's more important. It's got to be the right amount of volts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Tammy, I just want to, help you be aware that a car charger really is not going to be necessary because there is a built-in lithium battery that goes for 4 hours. Just like a person would charge up their cell phone, they would charge up the pump. And then that was one of the most complimentary things we got from our pilot is women loved being able to pick up this tiny pump and walk around and pump anywhere. They could pump in their car, they could pump down the hall, they could, pump outside. It was just very flexible. They did not have to be tied to an electrical cord. And so, it maintains its charge all the way till it's gone. And so, and there's warnings to tell you when it might be time to plug it in again. And so it's a very versatile little pump. And I guess I'm really doubtful that a car charger would ever even be necessary.
Yeah.
Bonnie, this is Elise at CT Umatilla. Is it one of those that like it'll only charge for 4 hours and then you can't recharge it, or does it cause the battery to not hold the charge as long?
Well, it's a lithium ion battery, just like a cell phone. So, ideally what you're supposed to do with a cell phone is you're supposed to run it till the end of the battery and then charge it the proper amount of time. Well, who does that, right? It's like, that's to get optimal years of battery life. All right. That's not reality. That's not how we live here, I don't think. So with the breast pump, it's the same way. You're going to get, a good battery life, 3+ hours on this on a full charge. I always tell people, think of 3 and 3. You're going to get about 3 hours of pumping time on about a 3-hour charging time. Okay. Like I said, you don't want to charge it for 8 or, leave it plugged in for a day or two because it's just not good for the long-term life of the battery. They're not going to notice any different the next time they pump if they do that. But over time, it's hard on batteries to overcharge them. So,
have there been any studies to find out how long the lithium battery lasts, like in terms of years, if it's properly recharged?
They do it on hours, and this particular one, we don't have it available now, but we sell this in we're trying to sell this in one without a battery and one with a battery. The one with a battery, its expected life with that battery is 1,500 hours. Okay. So if you think, if you do a little math and you say, okay, if the mom pumps for an hour a day, 365 days a year, that pump's going to last, battery's going to last for a while. Some moms may pump more. A lot of moms may not pump an hour a day, So they should get plenty of years use on this battery, regardless of how they charge it, even if they, charging it, overcharging it on a regular basis, it should work okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, folks? If not, I'd like to say thank you to you, Tom, for giving us that demonstration. I really appreciated seeing that and seeing the new case and the 2 bags and all of that. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I guess while we transition back, for those of you who want to take a short break, just 3 to 5 minutes, we will be back with the PowerPoint and continue with the rest of our training. So let's see, I have 2:15, so be back and ready for 2:20, please. And Tom, thanks again. You can feel free to sign off.
Yep, I will do that.
And I will share your contact information. And if you could, let's see, you said you'd send me something.
The app, the information.
The app information. I would really like to have that. And then I can send that out as well.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I've got another call to jump on as well. So
okay.
it'll probably be tomorrow if I send that out. Is that okay?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
No worries at all. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you,
All
Bonnie.
right.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care. Bye-bye.